It's March 1st. February we did a lot of the sci-fi science and science fact. It's March 1st now, so I was debating on whether or not to really do this video because of what it was going to be about. So yeah, we'll do this. It's going to be on lightsabers. Um, Star Wars, one of the main things that I loved about the Star Wars movies, aside from the spaceships and the droids and the blasters, was the lightsaber. Um, I've got a relatively long martial arts background. Started when I was 9. I'm 38 at the end of the month. So I've been practicing martial arts that whole time. And one of the favorite things that I was learning was the sword styles. Aikido, Iaijutsu, Kenjutsu, Bojutsu, weapon forms. And the sword forms always stuck out to me the most because it was an honorable way for the samurai to do battle, face to face with your opponent. So when I first saw Star Wars, I was actually like 12 years old, and I was homesick from school one day. I got bored, went through my dad's VHS videos, found the Star Wars Episode 4, popped it in, watched it, looked through it some more, found Episodes 5 and 6, watched them. I was hooked on the science. So with the lightsaber, you have roughly between a 6-inch and a 12-inch handle, which roughly weighs about 1 kilogram or 2 pounds. And that's where all your weight is. A scientific terms of it, it's a plasma blade. But based upon the science fiction background of the lightsaber, there are crystals in there. So it's more of a laser, which, if you're a fan of Episode 1, is pointed out by young Anakin Skywalker when he referred to the lightsaber as a laser sword, not a plasma weapon. However, the lightsaber designs were relatively simple for Star Wars. When writers started doing the expanded universe with George Lucas's approval, they became canon. One of the first depictions of the prototype lightsaber is this here. It's a long handle, it's got hand guards, a trigger, the crystal actually stuck out the top, a long power cord which attached to a power pack on the side of the leg. Power pack actually shrunk from one that was worn on the back to this one here. That being said, scientists have been looking into creating a lightsaber for an awfully long time now. But they don't want to do the bulky backpack size battery or the leg size battery. They want to start with the simple, batteries held within the hilt. So I started my Project Blue Book, which is this folder we're looking into right now, back in 2006. Before that, it was a small little book with art book with musical notes on the front of it, which was 2003 to 2006. And it's completely filled up with random things. And then I went to this binder, which is all scientific stuff. Most of it science fiction, fantasy things with real life applications, including an F-35 fighter jet's engine blueprints, which I got offline about 9 years ago. We're going to skip ahead. I'm not really going to stick too much on the prototype lightsaber. I'll show you some quick drawings that I've got of it, starting with the battery pack and the hilt itself. So this is the battery pack. It's a side view. Another side view of it. Your front, sides. This is roughly about the size of this little box here. Now it has power amplifiers in the ends that connect towards the lightsaber cable because it's roughly a 12-volt battery. If you ever had those uh, flashlights with a large 12-volt battery, it looked like a 9-volt, but it was made for 12 volts. Had a little spring connection, a couple of spring connections on it. It's about that big. Fits in a little pack, and then it's amplified into the lightsaber. Here's my drawing of the saber hilt itself. There's the crystals and the emitter matrix. Your emitter, crystal matrix, crystal housings, energy aperture, electromagnetic coil, and then the cord that goes out to the power pack. It's relatively simple. I don't go into a lot of detail for that. And then if you do a web search for lightsabers, hilt designs and things, you get an awful lot. I've got all of them from episode 1 to episode 6. Expanded universe, everything before episode 1, you know, the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, Hyperspace Wars, all that. And then everything from episode 7 onward that was canon before Disney bought it. One of the things that I was researching was the type of laser to be used for it, which I ended up going with a Q-switch trigger-centric Hughes M60 Ruby laser. This is a little schematic layout of the circuitry for the lasers and everything. It's there. It's a lot of information for that little thing. That's all that's in this folder that I'm going to go into. Everything else is mostly designs and progressive work on the inside of how everything would be laid out. Black Book. This is the newest one of my books that I've got all this information in. And the paper I'm about to show you is my most recent design of the inside. I'm not going to explain what every little thing is because the power cell is still being worked on. But you'll get the gist of how it works just by the design schematic here that has a lot of detail. So, you have your power source, which I've got 3 little pieces that connect into one power source. Energy aperture, as you can tell, it's a Tesla coil. It's got heavy water here wrapped around the magnetic and copper wiring. The ball at the end of the Tesla coil connects directly to the port for your harmonizing crystal. Harmonizing crystal, in theory, if you meditate over it, connecting your personal energy into the crystal, it harmonizes it to you and to whatever you're connecting it to on the inside of the lightsaber. Now in martial arts, China calls this inner energy chi, Japanese martial arts calls it ki, India calls it mana, prana, things like that. It's basically the electromagnetic field that your body puts off because of your connection to the cosmos, because we're all made out of the same shit as the planet and the universe. So harmonizing yourself to the crystal energy field balances it to you. Scientists have used that and shown that it does work. Once the energy is released into that, by the way, the Tesla coil is still being worked on. The laser system would probably be connected to the end of the Tesla coil here, then put into the crystal. But then you've got 4 harmonizing, focusing crystals placed together here into a point, which goes through a lens, which is pontite or quartz of some sort. The arc made to the top points upward. This is your arcing lens. Your bending lens faces backwards. The electromagnetic coils around the ends of those. The energy passes through the coils. The laser is condensed and shaped. These are your energy cycling field energizers. This side connects to the focusing energy matrix systems here. This one goes back down through these lower components and recharges the battery as well. But all this energy is placed through the color crystal, which goes through an electromagnetic coil, another electromagnetic coil into a focusing lens in your emitter lens at the top here. Now, all this does really is it compresses the laser into a solid state form. The color crystal gives the color that hopefully will make it so you could see it. All these electromagnetic fields give you the opportunity to